Yep. Go ahead and sit down. Ready? 3. Wait, shit.
That's got to stay in there.
Let it focus. There we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello, my name is Eric Hightower. I'm here with Lance McNatt. This is our episode 2 of Arts and Crafts, a podcast. Where
Even
we talk
better this
about
time.
even better. Second, Arts and Crafts 2.0.
Sorry, you're going to have to listen to us eat chips. That's just the way it goes.
Dude, we've been setting this up for 4 hours straight.
Yep.
I am hungry. I'm a starving big boy.
Yep. Me too.
All right. First things first, I like to mention that someone's trying to call me. All right. So in our last podcast, we introduced Lance McNatt, my co-host, and but I never really talked about me and what I do. So you're probably looking at this like, who's this guy and why is he in here? I am Eric Hightower. I am a film producer / photographer. Basically, I set shit up like this. And I also do stuff like short skits, short films. You're going to be seeing those a lot more often. If you keep watching this podcast, we're going to have skits and stuff in them. And other than that, today's topic, we're going to talk about motivation and burnout. So, Lance McNatt, how long have you been in, like, the rap in general? Like, the rap game? You ever had anything to do with motivation or... This is going to be a pretty entertaining podcast, I could already tell.
Alright.
Now he has that frog out of his throat. Back to the question. How long have you been in the rap game, or how long have you been rapping?
I've been rapping since I was 13 years old. And honestly, it all started, again, with the song Forgot About Dre. I loved Eminem. Eminem is the one who I most related to until NF came out. I'd say NF is like probably the most relatable rapper you can relate to out of the general population in the world. So, yeah. That's it, man.
Alright, so, speaking of that, you ever had, like, a... You said since you were 13, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you ever had, like, a time and place you just, like... what's your biggest motivation? Let's start with that.
My biggest motivation for starting, or...
Yeah, you know what? Let's start from the beginning.
Well, my biggest motivation for starting, I would say, was just hearing... for actually getting serious about it, I think, was hearing Busta Rhymes and how fast he was able to rap and make sense out of it. I thought that was amazing, and that fast rap was so cool. But then later on, now it's like I found out that you don't have to rap fast to be cool. So
Oh, is that what you think?
yeah,
Oh. So,
it's, typical black guy thing, you know.
Oh, I mean, you gonna start acting soon? Ugh.
I don't know.
Anyways, have you ever what's like your source of motivation to keep this going?
My motivation, I would say, is that there's a lot of things that I'm going to be doing to help impact the world, and it's not just involved with music. And so I don't want to say what it is until it's done, because I don't want to, talk myself up or anything. But I'm definitely going to be making a change real soon. So
Do you ever have a feeling where, like, after you got done working on something really hard, you ever feel like it's not good enough?
all the time. I think it's every time that I'm making something, I always feel like it's not good enough.
Right.
No matter how hard I try, and like when I produce it, it comes out, I'm just like, damn, man, I should have made this kick a little harder or a little softer. I should have made the hi-hats to like a higher volume, lower volume.
Yeah.
It's always something that just bugs me about my beats, and then I would sit there, after making it and just listen to it over and over again. And I would consider it a definite obsession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially being in film or like studying film, I always had the problem that no matter what I make,
Uh
it
huh.
could be just a little better quality. That's why you see this second podcast is a lot different than our first one. We're no longer sitting behind a computer anymore. The camera's actually in focus of us instead of the microphone.
Exactly.
Like when I was looking back our old podcast, I was listening to it and I noticed a lot of noise and stuff. And even when I denoised it, it messed with our voices. I kept banging on the desk, which was really annoying. I just kept nitpicking like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff out of what we did.
Yeah.
That's why it's a lot better. We got rid of the desk completely, so we have nothing to accidentally bang on. We're within like a good distance between the microphones, so it shouldn't be out of control anymore. And the camera, I have it actually focus onto us, so if anything happens, God forbid, it will be on us. So there's a lot of it, and I'm not sure. I feel like everything I make, I'm sure once I upload this, I'm gonna look back on it and be like, oh, we could have done better.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm not sure if it's coming from because I believe I could do better, or if it's some type of like ego or like professionist or like oh,
I definitely don't see it as ego for me. It's like it's more of a thing where, um, for me personally, the way I see it is there's always gonna be someone who's gonna be working while you're sleeping.
right.
For me, like the fact that you have to sleep for 12, 8 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours even in a day, that takes away from your time for working. You know what I mean?
You're just an anti-sleep.
Yeah, dude, my bed's right here. Man.
I
Like
don't need my bed. I need to
literally
work.
behind this little curtain right here is my bed, and I sleep on the floor. So
Right.
yeah, and literally, the funny thing is when I sleep on the floor, I actually get up earlier because I get so sore. I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to be asleep anymore. So I just like, I'll just get up.
So like your whole plan is just to sleep less.
Yeah, sleep less, work more. Because when I walk in
Damn.
my room, here's the motivation: is like, I don't want to walk in my room looking at a bed, because if I'm walking in my room looking at a bed, the first thing I think of is sleeping, right?
Right.
If I walk in my room looking at the floor, there's nothing to look at but the floor. So then the first thing I look at is my studio or setup, which is over here, and I just start working. You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
And I guess for me it's a bit different because every time I get home from my job, immediately I do is take like a long ass power nap. But I guess for me it's a bit different because in order for me to work, I need to have a script written out and actors to put in. So it's not like, once I get home, I could walk down the street and get a couple guys together and shoot a film.
Yeah. Just asking random people like, hey,
Hey.
you wanna join in this? Like,
So
what's the
I
name?
guess what gives you like a good advantage is that as soon as you're done doing whatever you need to do, you could just hop right in it.
Yeah, literally. So once I get done, the way like I'm trying to have everything set up is just I mean I'm literally making so many sacrifices with luxury to get for in some play areas of my life to get more luxury in the other areas, which is music.
Hmm.
And my bed's one of them. Sleeping on the floor is one of them. The clothes I buy now is one of them. Like I'm trying to, like the shirts I got were at thrift stores,
Hmm.
because I mean this shirt right here, this came from a thrift store, because I in my music videos I just want to wear plain stuff, so
Right.
then that way, um, people are focusing more on my what I'm saying rather than what I'm wearing. You know what I mean? That's
You
gonna
know
be my
what?
primary focus.
I ran into a recent problem like that. As you, Lance, you may know that there was a short amount of time in my life where I've been trying to do every martial arts there is,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been trying to get back into martial arts. I've been trying to find a karate dojo,
Uh-huh.
and I've been trying to like complete all the belts. But the only problem I find is that what's a big turnoff for me when it comes to martial arts and stuff like that is that if I see people wearing like a don't correct me on this, but I think it's called a kata. It's like the
The little robe thing,
mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Right. But what I've been finding is a lot that the dojos put their logos on it,
Mm.
and that's a really turn off for me because I feel like if I worked hard enough and got a black belt, and if I start like performing in front of people, or if I start doing moves, the first thing they're gonna look at is that logo and goes like, "Oh, they're a good teacher." You know, they're not gonna go like, "Oh, look how hard he worked to earn this." You know,
Yeah.
they're just
That's
gonna look at the logo and be like, "Oh,
that's definitely
that's why."
something I think about too. You know,
Mhm.
is like if I'm wearing like a Gucci T-shirt
Mhm.
and I'm trying to rep my own stuff. People aren't gonna look at me and be like, "Oh, hey, that's EP." Which
Mhm.
stands for Eknal Productions, a music company. Matter of fact, let me pull up my hat.
Oh yeah, your hats. I have a big head.
So we just robbed a bank right now. No, I'm just
Mhm.
kidding. But anyways, this is a hat right here, as if you guys can see right there. Eknal Productions. I came up with that, and I'm gonna be wearing it. You don't have to keep it on, but there it is right there. You guys can see it again. Cool. All right. Well, so this logo, basically, I wanted to put on the back of my T-shirts and everything. So then, this is why I'm wearing plain T-shirts now and just getting them from thrift stores because I'm gonna go to a place in Fallbrook called Manor Cleaners and get logos printed on the back of my T-shirts. So then everywhere I go, I'm always wearing my logo. So then people know, like, hey, that's EP.
Right.
Like, and the greatest thing about my company that I'm starting is that I'm an independent artist.
Right.
So I'm not going to be signing in for record labels or anything like that. I'm creating my own. So, yeah.
That's pretty dope. You ever have like a you ever have like a moment in like this career where you get burnt out and you go like, well, let me talk about the definition of burnt out. It's kind of like and I've done this before, especially like with God, I have so many hobbies. I'm gonna talk about it all the time, but like my blacksmithing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's been time where I just make so many like nails or something, or I just do the same thing over and over again, where you just get tired of it. You know what I mean? You get burnt out, and you just like, like a tire without traction. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You just get worn out. You ever have that feeling at all?
See, that's the weird thing for me is I don't necessarily get burnt out on my own music. I never got burnt out. I'm not one of the people to listen to my stuff and just be like, oh, like I'm tired of listening to this. It's more or less just me always critiquing myself. It's always an inner critic. But in terms of burnt out, I would say there are times when um, I burn myself out. You know what I mean? Like
How
I
so?
just, in ways, sometimes when I'm making a beat, I'm just like, man, like I cannot figure out how to, um, what's it called? How to do this mastering or whatever it is, or make a sound different,
Right.
make it sound like my own, and it just frustrates me to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I need to step away, otherwise I'm gonna get very angry. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the one thing I don't like feeling like is getting angry when
Like
I'm
frustrated,
yeah
and
when I'm
I
making
gotcha.
music. Because that's the one thing I don't like feeling. But at the same time, is what's weird about it is when I'm the best music that I make is when I'm have certain emotions,
Mm-hmm.
such as anger or frustration or when I'm sad. Those are the best times for me to make music, especially when I'm tired too. Like sometimes I would make music when I'm about to fall asleep, like just writing lyrics and stuff. So yeah.
Huh. Okay. So like for me, burnout would be like well, I guess I wouldn't call it burnout because I just love making films, But what's definitely unmotivational is the fact that ever since high school ended, ever since we graduated, I haven't had actors available. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yet when you graduate high school, and sorry if you guys are still in high school, but this is the sad truth. You tend to lose a lot of friends you would not expect.
Yeah, definitely. I can feel you on that one.
Yeah, so like that was the bummer part about it because I lost all my actors and now it's just me.
Hmm.
So that's like the biggest like oof moment for
Yeah.
me being in the film industry because now I have to make all these skits and short films just with one actor. So I mean, it's definitely a bummer and it has unmotivated me and it's been making screenwriting a lot more harder because I have to think about what shots I'm doing and what can I do by myself.
Hmm.
And it's because of that I'm a lot more limited of what I want to. I can't experiment as much,
Yeah.
but even though it's unmotivating, it's not gonna stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
Like
not gonna stop you.
I still have a script ready to go. Like you guys will probably gonna see that on the next podcast. And yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me too is that there's a lot of things that are motivating, but I don't stop either.
mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing I can tell you guys for anything that you may find unmotivating. The best time to build your own character is when those moments happen when you're like feel like you've uh hit a wall and you just don't know where to go because you hit a wall. Your back is against the wall. You got to keep going, but you hit a wall, so you got to climb over the wall now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a crazy situation, but I think definitely with you, um, I think you'll find something like a little loophole, because there's definitely
Mm-hmm.
like really good softwares out there you can use and stuff.
I could be my own actors.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like if you really wanted to,
mm-hmm.
but I'm sure you don't want to do that. But it's all about how far you want to go. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, let me eat this first. But like I feel like everyone can relate to burnout or feel like they're unmotivated to do what they love to do.
yeah.
And there's even like there's a in today's generation there's a lot of people dealing with depression and stuff. And one of those
Oh yeah.
symptoms is unmotivation. And
Hmm.
some people quit what they love doing just because they're having like a moment of like weakness. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
wouldn't say weakness, but they're just having a moment where they're just not the best.
Hmm.
And I know there's been a couple moments like me. That's the reason why I quit my martial arts is because, I had a moment and like I just gave up. I didn't feel like working that hard. And I definitely regret that because I just loved the culture behind it
Hmm.
and like the sense of achievement once you learn a new skill. That's definitely what I love. So after that whole incident of the whole martial arts thing, when I got back up on my feet, I got rusty. Like my flexibility wasn't as much before, and all that good stuff. So I went ahead and I hopped on to something else I enjoyed, which was blacksmithing, and I still do that today. So
Yeah. I see. Like that's the thing with me for wrestling.
mm-hmm.
It's like a love hate thing,
Yeah.
But at the same time, the most inspiring moments I find from the sport when I'm wrestling is when I get beat. When I'm defeated,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, wow, you realize you learn so much from it so quick. It's like that. Someone beats you and you're just like literally just thrown in a fire pit basically, and you're
Right.
like, dang, I gotta learn because otherwise I'm not gonna make it to state, not gonna be able to transfer, and all this stuff just starts to snowball if you don't take care of it quickly. And so now I'm in that boat right now because I lost the whole tournament. I lost every single match, right? And
Ooh.
I went in thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do really good.
Right.
Nope. I lost the first match, got cradled. Second match, what was it? Guy the guy cradled me. I got out of the cradle, which I learned from my first one, and he beat me through me just running out of breath because I wasn't using the
Right.
skill that I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one, the same thing happened again, and it's like, okay, now I know how I need to adjust. So it's just how it is.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to something like that, do you think like the confidence is what made you like fall, or do you also feel like confidence is what you need to succeed?
I think you need confidence to succeed, but it's not really much. Like the better word is just believing that you can do something.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're confident and if you're overly confident, um, it can hurt you more than it helps you.
Right.
That's what has happened to me a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
When I was wrestling is, I'd be overly confident, and it's not in the sense of me going like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go." I don't talk shit,
Right.
but it's always like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go do this. Um, I want to win this tournament." I say what I want to do, and I say how I want it to go down. And then it ends up being something entirely different.
Right.
Or some guy tries throwing a move on me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go. And me being stubborn and confident that I can, stay down, I end up hurting myself. So it's
Right.
like you can be like super strong and very smart, and both of those two things can hurt you more than they help you if you really use it too much. So you have
Right.
to find that balance in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand that. And that's like my whole thing too. I'm not sure if I'm too confident in myself, and that's why I'm like nitpicking all these things out of everything I do,
Uh huh.
or if it's just because I'm too confident in myself and I think I'm better than what I actually am.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's like a an ego thing or it's like a perfectionist thing or
Yeah, I think it might be. For me personally, I'm a perfectionist,
yeah.
definitely. Because I would stay up till like 1, 2, 3 in the morning trying to
Mhm.
make, just what do they call it? A melody for like
Right.
songs and stuff, or I'd stay up till even 4 in the morning, or not sleep at all because I'm making uh, what do they call it? I just spaced out right now.
It's
Lyrics.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's like, damn, and you get up and you feel like shit, right?
Mhm.
And here's the thing, I'm sure you feel this way too. You feel like shit in the morning, right? Then later in the day, you're like, damn, I just did this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I really did all this, and you don't realize it till like the end of the
Mhm.
day, huh? And it's like, same thing with this one day. I slept for 45 minutes. Actually, it was like last week. Yeah, I slept for 45 minutes. Went to school, took a test, and after that, had a wrestling practice,
Mhm.
and then got home.
Right.
And after all that, I was still writing lyrics.
Right.
And then I finally went to sleep, and it was like, I felt like shit at the end of the
Mhm.
day. But when I woke up the next morning, I was like, damn, I couldn't believe what I just did. So, yeah, man. Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
recording.
I was looking at
I
that.
know
I
it.
was just making sure it
It's kind
was
of it's kind of messing us up. It's kind of give us like that little
because
trauma,
you
you
know
know.
what it just cut off right in the middle, so I'm still a bit iffy on it just to make sure.
Yeah, we should do. I think we might have to do like 25 minutes and then make another one, maybe.
I feel like the same thing. My camera's about to die too, which is dumb. I charged it right before I got here. Um, okie dokie. We could keep down just a little more.
Yeah.
All right. What else do I have here? Um,
What
what's your?
time is it?
It is.
1:52. Wow, we
Oh,
have plenty of time.
yeah, we got plenty of time. This thing's supposed to go on for an hour. It's not even 25 minutes yet. So, um, what is like your biggest source of like inspiration? Is this just all like self satisfaction, just to like do the best What am I hitting? Anyways, is this just like to do like the best just because you want to? You want to achieve this yourself, or is there something in your mind that's going like, I need to do this?
I think it's like that.
You think it's
It's
like
like a
that?
genuine feeling that I just feel like I have to do it. Like, cause if I don't do it, who the hell else is gonna talk about the things I'm gonna talk about in my rap songs? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, cause I don't see anybody else in the rap game trying to do it. So, and I'm trying to talk about things like sensitive, like cancer and stuff like that, but in
Mm-hmm.
a way that inspires people, not makes them feel like, oh man, like this stuff is hard. I
Right.
want them to think of it as, yeah, sure, it's hard,
Mm-hmm.
but as long as you're opening your eyes the next day, man, like you're a champ. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? That's the way it is, and I don't know. I feel like I that is kind of in a way. I don't believe in destiny. I never have believed in it, but sometimes I get this feeling where it's like it's meant to be.
Right.
Because I had this dream where it's like I met Eminem. And
Yeah.
it was I woke up with the hugest smile on my face, and it was the best thing ever. And I woke up and I was just like, man, imagine if that was real. Like
Right.
how amazing that was. And in the dream, like I rapped like a verse that was like really from my heart and like kind of made him cry. And that's what happened in the dream. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened, but like that's how it went down. And then I shook his hand. He was like, man, like that was crazy, you know. It was just awesome, like that dream. And like I keep getting like these these like um it's almost like these foreshadowing dreams. Like I'm
Right.
imagining how my studio would
Mm-hmm.
look in the future, and it's just crazy. Like for instance, even for when I'm going out places, I keep getting like music references from where I'm going. It's weird. Like for instance, that chair that you're sitting in right
Uh
there,
huh.
I got it for like $12 at Goodwill, and I'm like, and I sat in it. And I was like, what the hell? Like this is crazy comfortable. I mean, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
not
like
bad. It's not bad at
it's
all.
crazy comfortable for a $12 chair, and I was like, man, like it's
All
like it
right.
was meant to be. So I just took it.
All right.
Yeah, before the audio cuts off
Before
on
the
us.
audio cuts off, before my camera dies, let's go ahead and wrap up the second one, and I guess we could start recording our third one once it comes back on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Before that, let me see what we could talk about. Ooh, I actually have a question from a fan.
Okay.
She is wondering if we're ever gonna have people like. Hold on, let me pull up the actual question so I could do this quote by quote. And if you guys ever want to ask your questions yourself, I do have an Instagram page. It's called Silver Fox Productions with underscores in between them. I do little polls before we record podcasts like this. And I put little polls in it so you can ask your own questions. We'll make sure we answer all of them for you. All right. It says here, are is you guys is you guys gonna have people like AJ Remington on your podcast as guests, or are you guys not gonna have any guests at all? That's a good one. You want
Yeah.
to answer that?
I think the answer is obviously yes because I'm technically a guest on this podcast, even though we're filming it at my place, um, because at the moment I'm trying to help Eric out because he's doing the filming thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we're helping each other because we're really good friends. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm the guest in this podcast. So we're definitely gonna have guests
Right.
on this podcast.
So I like to see it as Lance as being my co-host, even though this is my show. He's like my co-host.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about things together. But when it comes to guests, I would definitely love to have people like AJ Remington on here or any other type of um, I want to say, yeah, upcoming artists on the show, just because I want to help and collaborate with as many small time artists as possible, just because that's what I want to do. That's what I enjoy. But right now, I don't think we're gonna do that anytime soon, just because we're gonna try to get multiple microphones and even more cameras,
Yeah, dude.
just so it's a little more laid out. Because all three of us It's been stopped. Damn.
Oh, dude, it actually kept going on the thing though.
I know, huh? Alright. Very quick before it cuts down on us again. Yes, we are gonna have guests. We're trying to get more microphones so we can set up and have better quality for you guys before we do anything big like that. Anything else you want to mention before we cut off?
No, oh yeah. Again, my @ is Zacknell Productions if you guys want to check out my music stuff. So that's
Yeah.
it.
I will have his YouTube channel down in the description, like always, and his Instagram as well if you want to go ahead and follow that. And
Subscribe to this channel.
all right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay.
That's pretty dope. Got 34 minutes of film, dude.
I mean, 30. That's not too bad.